Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Pursue a raw god over land and sea in the sequel to the multi-award winning RPG Pillars of Eternity. Bend the world to your will as you explore the depths of infinite possibilities, including detailed character customization, total freedom of exploration, and more meaningful choices at every turn. Now guys, before we get into this, I just want to say I've never played the first one, so I came into this totally fresh, totally new, totally not knowing what the hell I'm going to do. It was just kind of a steep learning curve. I do have experience with isometric RPGs, so I kind of got by, but there is a lot to learn in this game. It is very deep, this game. It's not one of them RPGs that just kind of skirt around the edges of an RPG and give you a little bit. This gives you everything. You need to be, you know what I'm saying? Now sadly for me, halfway through my playing of this, I had to phone paramedics because I had the worst kidney stone attack I've ever had in my life. It lasted 30 minutes, had me screaming, and I lost a whole day yesterday. Pretty much I lost most of the day that I was due to be playing this. So I haven't got as far into the game as I wanted to, but I'm far enough in the game to know whether or not it's worth buying or not, and to give you a bit of a rundown on how it plays and what you to expect if you're going to buy this game. So it starts off with allowing you the ability to import your saved game file from Pillars of Eternity 1, which will allow you to continue the game essentially. But because of the story in this game, the god that you're chasing kind of wrecks your soul and takes away all your powers and all your stuffs, reducing you to a level 1 again with no gear. So it doesn't matter what you came into the game with from Pillars of Eternity 1, you will be reduced to level 1 again, which is fair enough. If you haven't played the first one, you do get fill-ins of what happened as you go through the game. So you don't need to have played the first one. I just wish I had. The character creation is great. There's 7 different characters that you can choose from, different classes of characters. There's druids, there's paladins, there's warriors, there's wizards, and you can also multi-class your character, so you can like have a battle mage, for example, which isn't just like a pure wizard. You can like cross him with a bit of a sword guy, so you have like a battle mage, and you can do that with all the other characters as well, so you can create a totally unique character. And they are really deep character creations in this. And worth mentioning is if you do go multi-character, you won't learn the skills as quickly, but you'll have a way larger choice of things to choose from. I kind of just went with a purebred character. I went with a wizard called Macdalf, and he's leveling up really quick, and I'm really enjoying playing him. He has such a massive array of spells to choose from, and this is a great thing about this game. As you level up, you get loads of stuff to choose from, as well as a load of gear that you can buff everything with as well. And the thing is, with this game, we're talking about the combat here, it's all live, it's real time, but you can't pause it. You can pause and then tell your characters what you want to do, and then unpause it and then they'll do it. Or you can just set the AI to do what the hell it wants to do as a standard default, or you can reprogram the AI and tell them what spells to use in certain situations, which I didn't know about at first, and that only kind of worked out halfway through. So I kind of stopped myself from AoEing my own people, which was very handy. So you kind of, this is how deep this game is. It is extremely deep with the combat. I'm really enjoying the game. I didn't enjoy the first 10 hours of it. I found it pretty poor, to be honest. I think it's because the story, I couldn't get into the story, having not played the first one. The second story, it's all a bit, what, who's here, what is a what, Anadra, what, I can't get into the story at all. So I've kind of just thought, well, the story, I'm just having fun doing the side quests mainly. I'm having more fun doing the side quests than the main quests. They're very well written, and they are kind of believable as well. You might have to go and find someone who's just suddenly left port and he's headed for another island, because this whole world is based around different islands. You use a boat to get from island to island, and you'll see lots of other boats as you're sailing around, and unfortunately the boat combat is awful. It's more like a text adventure than anything else. I can't believe how bad it is considering how good the rest of this game is. You would have thought that they would have gone down a little bit of, I don't know, Sid Meier's Pirates or something like that. It would have been so much better, but what you've got is you've got little options that come up of what you can do, turn to port, turn to starboard, and it's all represented as text. You know, you fire your guns, then you got to reload them for 2 turns before you can fire them again, and it's all RNG as well, which is really fucking annoying because, you know, I'm missing when I've got like 78% chance of hitting, then I'm just missing, and then all of a sudden my cannoneer guy gets wounded. Out of all the other crew on my ship, they had to wound the guy firing me fucking cannons, which pretty much put me out of the battle completely. It was so frustrating when I would have much rather just had control of my ship with the guys on board and then just took the battle anyway. But anyway, that doesn't matter. What is good about the ship is the actual sailing around. You have to have enough supplies to get around. You've got to pay your crew, you've got to feed them, you've got to water them, and each piece of food that you put in will have an effect on your crew. You can either build up the morale or take off the morale. You also need medical supplies as well, because if you board another ship or they board you, you're fighting on the deck, and you can have some really intense crew battles and people get injured and you need to make them well again. And each person on your crew fits a bit like FTL. You know, in FTL when you put people on your ship into different parts, like the only difference is in this you have to put the right person into the right job or it won't really work very well. It's pointless making a cannoneer a surgeon. He'll just blow people's legs off. You need, well, you know, but you've got to put the right guy in the right slot, so you might need to buy more crew. And you do come across lots of crew as you go around, and you can recruit them onto your ship, and you get your money obviously by doing the quests. So overall, I really do enjoy this. I mean, I like isometric RPGs anyway, and this is a great one to add to that. Coming back to the combat, which is easily the best part about this game, I just love it. I absolutely love the way that the combat is. It is very deep, and I'm just now starting to get the hang of it, because there's a lot of resistance from different people's armor, different races of people. Whenever you're fighting an enemy, you need to see what they're kind of going to resist from, so you'll know what to attack them with. You can't just generally leave the AI to do what they want. You will have to intervene. You'll have to buff your teammates as well. I think the most important part of the combat in this game is having a team that complement each other. I've got a tank which I use, and he kind of holds the aggro, and I keep him healed, I keep him high on resistance, I keep him in a defense formation, and then I use me casters and me hunter to hammer down the enemy. That's worked for me all the way through this game, even in the first boss fight that I did. It was, if that's what it was. It's really good and really fun the way that the game allows you to do that. I don't think I've ever played a game that has as deep combat as this. The combat is just so deep, but thank goodness we have pause, because that allows you to just go in there, take your time, take a breath, go and put the kettle on, make a cup of tea, come back and sit down and say, right, this is the situation. I've got him there, him there. You may want to move one of your guys to get into a flanking position. You may want to get that extra flanking bonus. You may have somebody that needs shielding. You may have someone that needs an instant heal. You may just want to put a general aura heal round, because everybody needs a little bit of a heal. You know, you may want to just focus fire on somebody. There's so many different things that you want to do in the combat, or it may be going well enough that you can just let the AI deal with it, as long as you've kind of tweaked the AI combat a bit to your team's kind of strengths rather than its weaknesses. There's not just combat skills that you have to think about in this game as well. There are active skills and passive skills that each character will get to choose from as you level them up. You might want to level into diplomacy, it might be history, it could be insight, metaphysics. You have active skills like alchemy, arcane, or explosives, and all of these come into play in the world in such a beautiful way, especially the likes of, I think it's mechanics, which is used to disarm traps and pick locks. It's a hugely important skill that I've found that I'm using all the time. But when you come into conversation with people, the dialogue options that you have are vast, and if you have these skills kind of leveled up far enough, you can use these for persuasion in conversations, which is massively helpful in a lot of situations. It can net you a lot of money as well if you can persuade the right people. It might even save you from having to go through a fight if you can talk your way out of it. There is so much to this game as you're leveling your guys up, so you have to really sit back and think about it. Also as well, when you're walking around, having stealth is great, and I love the way stealth is done in this game. Your whole team kind of cower down and go sort of semi-translucent, and you can see whether people can see, you can see kind of whether they're detecting you at all, and it gives you an advantage in combat to get the first hits in on them. So it is again another important skill that you can have in this game. It is so deep, guys. I can't really stress how deep this game is. It is such a fun game to play as well, and like I say, with the fact that you can just pause the game anytime you like, then you're going to have fun. You're going to be able to learn it. It does have a bit of a tutorial, which isn't that great, but it gets you started and you can pick the rest up yourself. It's got multiple difficulty levels as well, so it doesn't matter what level you're coming into these games, there's a difficulty level for you. I do wish I'd been able to play it a little bit longer than I have before I give you this video, but you know, as a one-man band you can only spend so much time, and I'm pretty sure all the other one-man band YouTube reviewers, none of them will have finished the game either. I don't think you'll see any end game content in any of their reviews, as is the same in mine. So there you go guys, it is definitely worth a buy. I'm off now to do Conan Exiles, which I'll bring you towards the end of the week.